Hey y'all, how you doing? Excuse, my appearance and apparent demeanor. I am homeless at the moment, so yeah, there's that. But I'm making this video, but first let me introduce myself. My name is Devontae Garrett, and like I said, I am indeed homeless at this current time. And welcome to Mermaid Consciousness. Another, this is just a video that's being made, okay? But welcome to Mermaid Consciousness. Another video installment for the series. For Mermaid Consciousness. But I'm making this video because it's time for me to reveal my deepest, darkest secret. By what you see on the title, the story of the R1mJob is the title. So I apologize in advance. If you were inspired by me, try not to take it too hard. It's just, we all make mistakes, okay? So this is definitely a trigger warning, trigger warning, a big trigger warning. So the story goes to, when I was about 12 or 13, right? And, we had this family friend, and, they stayed over for a bit, and, they had kids. So there was this one kid in particular. I'm not gonna say his name, but I had quite a few interactions with this person, and long story short, what happened was I had asked, because for whatever reason, this person, it kind of felt like this person activated something inside of me, when I came into contact with them. And so, long story short, I pretty much had asked, this child if I could, put my tongue, inside his hole. And, of course, being a child, they don't understand. So, of course, he said yeah. And that's kind of how that happened. So, but it's just, and honestly, I feel terrible, because, when you're a person that's heart-centered, you actually see yourself as a good person. When you affect someone so deeply, it affects you, you know what I mean? And I felt guilty, for a long time. I still feel guilty because, I'm sorry I wasn't able to control, like, I guess, that part of myself, especially in the heat of the moment, being 12 or 13 years old. And it's just, it weighs on you. And the thing is, when you engage like in that behavior, what it does is it fractures your consciousness and it fractures your mind. So, and that's the thing, like, that's what I'm working on. I've been working on trying to unify myself, to be whole or holy, because to be holy is to be whole. And that's just what I'm working on. So the thing is like, you have to confess your sins, like, what the scriptures say, because first of all, it weighs down on you, like, and you can't really fully move forward in your life and you carrying a huge big ball of pain and regret. The most important thing is you can just identify and acknowledge your mistakes and then try and be a better person, like, as you move forward. So, and then what I want to say is, to the people that this is really meant for, to the people that have gone through like the same thing, on either side, from the I guess we could say the abusee's perspective, understand that some people, they just sometimes your body, it just moves on its own, and it's like, it could be unexpected. It's not just like some people that this has happened to, or they've engaged, in the behavior. It's not that anything is wrong with them. It's just sometimes they don't know that it's there and they don't know how to handle it. And you have to kind of be open and honest, about it, like about yourself, so that way you can transmute it and you can move forward. You could turn it into something else, something positive. So and that's one of the main reasons why you want to confess your sins, is so that it transmutes into something higher and positive and better, and so that other people can't use it against you. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to be open and to be honest about who you are, and you have to love yourself, no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody thinks of you. You have to love yourself, and you have to be open to other people loving you, and to do that and to become that, you have to open yourself up. You have to let other people know who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that way they can determine whether or not, for lack of a better term, if they want to fuck with you. You know what I mean? And heavy on top of that. So now that we've got that out the way, I wanna kind of explain how this like led me onto like the kind of journey that you see me on now. So of course, feeling with this this pain and regret and guilt, and then on top of that, it's like, because it's a sexual desire, and the thing about sexual desire, they don't go nowhere. Like, so you have to explore, and then you have to be open, like, you know what I mean, like within limits. You have to be open, and you have to, if you can't get it, you have to turn into something else, is what I'm going to say about that. And so, how this leads me on to my journey of what I be talking about and stuff. So there was this incident, this one time where, like, this was back when, not to be vulgar, but this is back when, like, when Tumblr porn was like booming and a thing. And so like they had these pages where like, I'm just gonna be honest, it was rim job porn. And and I'm sorry, but like, when it's the right person eating ass, is hot. It's hot, feels good. But anyways, there's this page that's like rim job porn, and unfortunately it happened to be one of those phishing sites, and me being like, because for reference, I'm 31 now, and for me being like 21, 22, I think I was 22, I had this pain, this regret, and then I had this unfulfilled sexual need that's this unfulfilled sexual need that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Rim job, eating ass. So, I found this phishing site. Unfortunately, didn't know it was phishing. And they said, like, it had, like, it had, like, the picture, and it had, like, the website. Like, back at this time, it was Kick. That's how long ago it was, Kick. Remember Kick? And it's, it said, oh, looking for this, how you know it's phishing. And I didn't really know it was phishing. So, it was just phishing. So they're like, hey, I think the page was called Rim Jobs Make Me Rigid. And it was this guy he was hosting, supposedly. He's like, yeah, come to my like apartment or whatever, and I'll give you a rim job. And I'm just like, okay, well, I haven't had one. I want to see what it's like. I still haven't had one, so I'm gonna. And when I say I still haven't had one, I mean to this day I still haven't had one. So depressing, isn't it? Anyways, I'm like, okay, well, let me just hit this person up and see. So I hit the person up, and what happened was this person had asked for my stats, like what is it? ASL, age, sex, location, and I gave him the stats, and then I had sent a picture, and that was my mistake. I shouldn't have sent the picture, because it turned out to be like one of those early like testing for AI chatbots, like way back in 2017, and I didn't know. And when they say that they're looking for black boys, they're looking for it's this deep. They're looking for like them soulful like black boys. You look in the eyes, you see the soul, because they're trying to study the melanin. So, and unfortunately, this is one of those projects and those traps that I fell into. Serves me right. So, I sent the picture, and then it kind of just ended, right? Like, it just ended. It just ended right there. Let's just put it that way. And what happened was, I had a dream like that same night, and I noticed like I was in like this really, really high dimension. So, like I was saying, I had this dream that I was in like this really, really high dimension, because we have guardian angels and stuff that watch over us. So, and it was these two like very specific guardian angels, and I know like I'll never forget the dream, especially because it was really high frequency, especially for where my consciousness was at the time. So one of the angels was like, oh, he sent the picture, like, and he was real pissed. Like, this angel, when I say this angel was pissed, this angel was pissed. And the other angel looked at me really surprised, like, oh, how could you send the picture? And the dream ended. So, and then like sometime later, because they have my image, what they were trying to do is they were trying to clone me. Like they were trying to clone they're trying to clone my light source. So I remember, because it's not everything's a dream. So I was asleep one time and I remember I heard like this kind of humming sound, and my head was in like this machine, like part of my head, and like my neck was in this machine. And then it was like this light projector, right? And I'd see a dude, like a white dude in like a lab coat, and because they're trying to clone me. So, and then another instance is that like it's crazy how all this led to this, right? In another instance, I was watching Total Drama Island one time, Netflix, because Total Drama Island's funny. And I went to sleep, and then I had a dream. I was in like this larger machine, and it was more of my body in the machine. And I remember in the dream, the lab coat scientist, I guess he was asking me what was I doing, and then I said like super super happy, like, oh, I was watching Total Drama Island, because again, they're trying to clone my light source. So, and unfortunately, like, I guess they succeeded because they harvested something, and ever since they harvested it, I felt empty, like I felt like something's missing. Luckily, I got everything back, because I'm on this journey, right? So, and that's what it leads me to. Like, I've been on the journey because I've been trying to collect my pieces of light, my source light, and so I can feel whole and full again. And this has led me to collecting a plethora of light codes in order to evolve my consciousness and my physical body along with my spiritual body, right? And this has all led to what you see on my social media pages. So that's all I wanted to say, to the person, that I affected, as a child. I'm deeply sorry. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to control myself at the time, because it was new. It was a new experience for me. And I promise to try and do and be better. You know what I mean? So, and that's all any of us can do, is try to be the best that we can. But I just want to say I love you. If that means anything, I love you very deeply. And just give your life to the Most High. That's the best thing that you could do in this world and in this life. So I love you. You have a very happy, nice ending and day. I love you. Mwah.